Imagine walking into a village market 2,000 years ago, and the cashier asks, "That will be 3 chickens and half a sack of rice." No coins, no bills, just lunch as currency. Welcome to humanity's original payment system, where your wealth could literally rot if you forgot to cook it. But here's the plot twist. That ancient bowl of rice eventually evolved into something you can't see, can't touch, and somehow still makes people millionaires overnight. Yep, I'm talking about Bitcoin. But before we dive into crypto chaos, let's rewind and uncover the bizarre story of how we went from trading food to trading code. So, picture this. Ancient humans bartering, like, "I'll give you this goat for your shiny rock." Deal, but throw in a fish. This, my friends, was the barter system, the original buy and sell Facebook group, minus the Wi-Fi and common sense. The problem was it sucked. You had to find someone who not only wanted your goat, but also had the exact thing you wanted. Economists call this the double coincidence of wants. Normal people call it a pain in the neck. So, humans did what we do best. We invented shortcuts. Instead of trading random stuff, society started using items that everyone valued. Shells, salt, beads, even teeth. Yes, people once looked at a bag of cow teeth and thought, "We're rich, honey." One of the strangest early currencies, rice. In ancient Asia, rice wasn't just dinner, it was literally money. In Japan, rice determined your social status and even your taxes. The more rice you had, the more power you wielded. Rice was wealth, until of course it spoiled and your fortune turned into fermented soup. It's like your savings account suddenly developing mold. Eventually, someone had the genius idea. What if we used something that doesn't go bad or get eaten by rats? Cue the birth of metal money. The first coins appeared around 600 BCE in Lydia, modern-day Turkey. Made of electrum, a natural mix of gold and silver, these coins had stamped symbols to prove authenticity. It was the ancient world's version of blockchain, minus the blockchain. Suddenly, trade exploded. Money became portable, durable, and sparkly. Gold and silver weren't just shiny metals, they became symbols of trust. People didn't just see coins, they saw power, stability, empire. And as nations grew, kings did what kings do best: print money they didn't have. Roman emperors, for instance, would shave tiny bits of silver off coins and mix in cheaper metals. Basically, ancient inflation. By the time citizens noticed, their pure coins were as trustworthy as a modern politician's campaign promise. Fast forward to 9th century China. Merchants were tired of lugging heavy sacks of coins everywhere. Imagine carrying your life savings in metal and trying to buy tea. Back pain was practically part of the economy. So they created paper notes. Slips of paper backed by real metal stored elsewhere. It was a revolutionary idea. Money doesn't have to be physical, just trustworthy. Europe caught on much later, and when they did, it changed everything. Banks started issuing paper notes, promising that you could redeem them for gold or silver. That's where we get the phrase, "backed by gold." But guess what? Eventually, those promises became more flexible than reality. Governments realized they could issue more paper than gold they actually had. And as long as people believed the promise, it worked. Money had officially transformed from stuff to trust. Gold became the ultimate symbol of stability. If your money was backed by gold, it meant something. Until the early 20th century, nations clung to the gold standard like a financial religion. But world wars are expensive. When countries needed to print money faster than they could dig up gold, that standard cracked. By the 1970s, the US said, "You know what? Forget gold. Let's just trust the dollar itself." And just like that, money became completely imaginary. Its value now depends entirely on collective belief. If people stop believing in the system, poof, your savings become monopoly cash. So yeah, money is basically the world's biggest group project based on trust and anxiety. Then came the computers. The 1990s introduced online banking, digital transactions, and the death of the physical wallet.
money officially went invisible. You no longer needed to hold cash. Your wealth exists as numbers on a screen, managed by banks and middlemen. And for the first time in history, money could move at the speed of light. But that raised a terrifying question. If money is now just data, who controls the data? Banks? Governments? Tech companies? What happens when that trust collapses again? If you're hooked so far and maybe slightly paranoid about your online balance, hit that subscribe button. Because what's coming next is where money stops being metal or paper and starts being code. The global financial system was on fire. Banks collapsed, governments bailed them out, and regular people got crushed. Then, out of nowhere, a mysterious figure or group called Satoshi Nakamoto drops a white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. No banks, no governments, just pure math and cryptography. Bitcoin wasn't printed, it was mined, not with shovels, but with computers solving puzzles. It was the first time in history that money existed completely outside traditional systems, decentralized, trustless, and finite. Only 21 million bitcoins could ever exist. No printing more, no inflation, no, oops, we ran out of gold. It was digital rebellion. Finance turned punk rock. But it wasn't smooth sailing. In its early days, Bitcoin was used on dark web marketplaces to buy, well, stuff your mother shouldn't know about. Critics called it fake, unstable, a bubble, and yet years later, a single Bitcoin that once cost a few cents is now worth tens of thousands of dollars. That's like buying rice in 500 BC and waking up in 2025 owning a skyscraper. So what is money, really? It's not coins, not rice, not even Bitcoin. It's a story, a shared illusion that lets billions of humans agree. This piece of paper or number on a screen represents value. Money only works because we all believe in it. Once that belief cracks, chaos follows, like Weimar Germany's hyperinflation or Venezuela's currency collapse. You can print money, but you can't print trust. That's why every evolution of money, from rice to blockchain, isn't just about technology. It's about faith. Faith in kings, in banks, in algorithms. And here's the crazy part. We've now come full circle. Remember, when money was rice, tangible, edible, limited. Bitcoin is the digital version of that, limited, finite, but completely untouchable. We started with food you could eat and ended with code you can't even see. And yet both somehow made people rich. Now, central banks are creating their own digital currencies, CBDCs, or central bank digital currencies. Think of them as government-approved crypto with a suit and tie. They promise efficiency, but they also bring control, total visibility over your spending, saving, and maybe even, well, thinking. So, the question is, will the next empire even need gold, coins, or flags? Or will its borders be drawn by lines of code? Money has always evolved with power. Whoever controls the currency controls the story. If you loved uncovering this hidden piece of financial history, subscribe and stick around because the next story might just change how you think about wealth, power, and the future of money forever. Because if rice could rule kingdoms and Bitcoin could create billionaires, imagine what's coming next.
Let's step back for a second. Why does something as imaginary as money control so much of our lives? Because deep down, money isn't about wealth. It's about security. It's that invisible promise whispering, you'll be safe, you'll be respected, you'll be free. From the rice farmers of ancient Asia to crypto traders staring at charts at 3 a.m., humanity has always chased the same thing: certainty in an uncertain world. When your ancestors hoarded grain, it wasn't greed, it was survival. When people stacked gold, it wasn't vanity, it was power. And when we invest in Bitcoin or stocks today, it's not just for profit, it's hope disguised as numbers. The fascinating part, every generation believes their version of money is the ultimate one,
until the next innovation makes it look ridiculous. Rice looked primitive to metal users. Gold looked outdated to bankers, and paper looked silly to crypto believers. But here's the truth. None of them were wrong. Each form of money was simply the reflection of its era, its technology, its fears, its ambitions. Money, at its core, is a mirror, and what we see in it says more about us than about the coins in our pockets. Let's talk power, because money has always been the ultimate weapon of control. Empires didn't just conquer with swords, they conquered with currency. When the Romans minted their coins, they stamped the emperor's face on them, literally branding the economy with political propaganda. When European powers colonized Asia and Africa, they didn't just bring soldiers, they brought their money, forcing local economies to bend to their system. Fast forward to today, and the US dollar is doing the same thing, quietly ruling the world, not with armies, but with banking networks, oil contracts, and international trade. It's financial dominance disguised as global stability. And now, Bitcoin and other digital currencies threaten that balance. For the first time in history, the control of money might shift away from governments to code, algorithms, and decentralized communities. If that happens, it won't just change finance, it will change power itself. But hold on, before you start tattooing Bitcoin logos on your arm, let's get real. Every new form of money comes with its demons. When humans invented coins, thieves invented counterfeiting. When we created banks, corruption followed. And when money went digital, hackers, scammers, and crypto cults were born. Bitcoin promised freedom, but it also created chaos. Millions have been scammed in rug pulls and fake investments. And entire countries like El Salvador have gambled their national economies on it. We've entered an era where money can vanish with a click or multiply overnight because of a tweet. It's thrilling and terrifying because for the first time, our wealth lives in cyberspace. No vaults, no guards, just passwords and blockchain. The new frontier of finance isn't made of gold or stone, it's made of code. And just like ancient traders worried about their rice rotting, modern investors worry about their crypto wallets getting hacked. Different tools, same fear. So, what can we learn from this 10,000-year financial roller coaster? Money always evolves when trust breaks. Every revolution in currency, from rice to coins, from gold to Bitcoin, began because people lost faith in the old system. Wealth is never permanent. The richest traders in ancient Babylon? Forgotten. The kings who hoarded gold? Dust. The crypto billionaires of today? We'll see. Every era's smartest investors eventually meet the same truth. Money changes faster than they do. Real value isn't in the currency. It's been the system of belief. The moment society stops believing a dollar is worth a dollar, it collapses. That's why confidence, not coins, runs the world. And finally, innovation never stops. Somewhere out there, a new kind of money is already being imagined. Maybe it's digital. Maybe it's AI-driven. Maybe it's something so strange we can't even comprehend it yet. Picture this. You wake up 10 years from now, open your digital wallet, and your money isn't dollars or pesos or yen. It's a universal currency, backed by nothing but global consensus and code. No exchange rates, no banks, no middlemen, just value flowing freely between people anywhere on Earth. That's the dream of crypto. That's also the nightmare of governments, because whoever controls that future currency, whether it's a tech company, an AI, or a decentralized network, controls the fate of humanity's economy. The question isn't if money will change again, it's who will change it first. Let's get philosophical for a second. When you strip away all the economics, politics, and shiny tech, money is really just a language. A way for humans to translate effort, time, and trust into something we can exchange. It's how a farmer in ancient Japan could trade rice for iron. It's how you can trade 40 hours of your life for a paycheck. And it's how one anonymous coder created a digital system worth trillions, using nothing but belief. Money is the story that lets society function. But, like every story, it can be rewritten. And every time we rewrite it, empires fall, fortunes are made, and history resets. So, after thousands of years of evolution, we've gone from rice to gold to paper to pixels. And through it all, one thing stayed the same: the chase for value. Maybe that's the real constant. Not the form of money, but the human obsession behind it. We want to measure worth. We want to store power. We want to believe that what we hold, or mine or trade, means something more than just numbers. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes us human. Not our hunger for wealth, but our faith that it matters. So, here's the question I'll leave you with. If rice could build kingdoms, and Bitcoin could build billionaires, what will the next form of money build or destroy? Because somewhere, right now, a new kind of currency is being coded into existence. And like every revolution before it, most people won't realize it's changing the world until it's already too late. If you loved uncovering this wild story from rice to Bitcoin, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned, because the next video might just reveal the future of money before it happens. Welcome to the Money Archive, where history isn't just about the past, it's about the next big financial plot twist waiting to unfold.